Okay, ladies and gentlemen, um, my heart, even my anxiety, if I'm being honest right now, is a little bit elevated. Uh, why? Well, because I just had a moment to dream and journal. Yes, I have this fucking bright ass girly stars journal that I brought in Colombia, but whatever. Um, okay, I literally woke up seconds ago, and I woke up, like I said, like a madman, just journaling. So I'm really not put together, if I'm being honest. I just landed off the plane yesterday after being in the airport for like 12 hours. So I'm a little discombobulated, but this is more of like an emergency message on the update. Um, I don't really know fully what the transits are right now. I know enough though. So I'm going to do another full video on this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is more of an emergency transit. Really a prophecy that I had in my dreams last night as I took the time to go ahead and journal. And, you know, this is definitely one of the end of times type dreams, but it also was the beginning of time. So it's like the end, the beginning of the end, the end of the beginning. That's the best that I can put it right now as I explain into the dream. So you can understand what this is about and how it links to the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. You know, the classic understanding of Scorpio is endings and beginnings. So it makes total sense. Off the rip, like I said, I literally just woke up. I didn't even wash my face yet or brush my teeth. But you notice right here, and it started going down yesterday a little bit. You know the styes, I think they're called STYE. You could see it in my eye. One of the spiritual meanings of a sty already is the releasing of a person, the releasing of something big, something dramatic. And I had this about 2-3 days ago. I had a sty in my eye and it was like puffed up like a baseball. And it already, my body was signifying my body, Taurus. The Taurus lunar eclipse now at the Taurus solar eclipse, okay, where the new moon is here to set our new intentions. The body is where earth signs store their intuition. So this sty was already beginning to tell me about this prophecy dream that I just had last night, leading into the lunar eclipse in Scorpio 2 weeks later. Okay, I want you to understand already, this is very uncharacteristic. And while you're here, definitely hit the thumbs up and then drop the thumbs up button. But I gotta really like spit this because this came out like a prophecy. So forgive me if I run my motor just really quick. I literally just woke up, but I do thank you for the thumbs up. And ask questions along the way, and I'll do the best I can to fill them in. So, like I said, honestly, my heart is really still racing. Okay, this dream that I woke up from was not a dream. It's one of the dreams that I don't even want to journal, but I had to journal. And the reason I don't want to journal dreams like this, thank you for that thumbs up, is you know, at a point when I was a younger kid, I always had these same prophecy type dreams, and it's like, they're fucking scary, okay? It's scary to see what you see in your dream to come to pass, especially when there's all-out war, especially when there's mass casualties. Now, everything that was happening in this dream, there was a lot. One was me rejecting the magic of the future, okay? I do use the word magic specifically because the magic of the future is magic and technology infusion, but openly used, okay? So magic with a K, people practicing magic, but also using technology and the innovation of what modern day science has brought to the world. Okay, modern day science, it may seem like it's going to just go out the window, but it's not. It's going to be integrated, it's going to fuse into, let's say, old school magic with a K. And that's going to create a very brand new future that we can't really imagine. But at least in this dream that I just had, which really felt again more like a prophecy, you know, understand when you have dreams, for starters, that it can only come out in interpretations of the people that you've actually met, the people you know. So as I take a moment to detach from the actual people I know that I was able to recognize in my dream, what was this lunar eclipse? How did this link to the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the full moon coming on May 15th, and all the transits happening? Okay, so we need to start off and understand that right now Gemini is, and Mercury is in Gemini. This has did what? This changed the game. All right, on the same day that the eclipse is here, this is very different in Mercury rather than Taurus. We just was in Taurus and Gemini. It's very different. First off, Gemini is home. Second off, Gemini is only here for like 1 to 2 weeks before it goes retrograde. So everything that you see right now, everything that your brain is processing right now, you can actually trust it. Okay, you can trust it in the same way that a 7-year-old to an 8-year-old intuition is just right on point. Okay, you may gaslight that 7 to 8-year-old to make them believe that what they knew or what they did wasn't true, and you might successfully make it because the kid's only fucking 7 to 8 years old. So, you know, but when they get older, they're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, man, I used to be right when I was 7 to 8. And you know, this is what I'm saying from for the truth. Opposite of Sag. Sag is the truth with the perception. Gemini is the truth with like the details and the facts, in a sense. It's just going to look at things objectively. And this is very important. Why? Because the lunar eclipse in Scorpio is a very overly emote time. And thank you for those thumbs up. I appreciate y'all for helping this video. It's overly emotional. Okay, Scorpio's level of intensity is linked to the underworld. All right. When I say the underworld, when you apply that to water, the water affinity, this is like the sewers. This is the drains, right? This is literally where our shit, okay, that we flush down the toilet. This is Scorpio's current of water. It is dirty. It is mucky waters. The current, the terrain is just actually volatile. It's why Scorpio is part of the underworld. It's why it's a part of violence. I appreciate those thumbs up. So in order to, let's say, purify that water, all right, this is me with my little Indian basket, and I got fish, and I need to get the extra stuff out, get the water out so I could just catch the purity, just catch, you know, what will fuel me, what will be nutrients for my body. This is Scorpio in a moment. It takes things from the dirtiest of places, which is why people think that it's a dark sign, but it's not a dark sign. It's like, you know, diamonds are found in the middle of the mountain where it's darkest. That doesn't make it bad. Okay. So we have to understand this concept, at least the way I'm dishing it out, for the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is dramatic endings. That's my point. This is endings where it's going to cost you something really big. It's going to cost you something that you don't want to give up. It's going to cost you something that you've held on to for far too long, but it can't make it into at least this prophecy that I had in the form of a dream last night that I just woke up from 2 seconds ago, that I feel like a madman and anxious. And I'm telling you, as my heart is like fluttering, trying to catch up. Mercury in Gemini, my mind is fluttering, Gemini, to catch up to what kind of emotions were just released. Now, in this dream, you know, first off, a lot of, I don't know what you want to call them. I'm just going to say beings for now. They came through something which really reminded me much of the divine spark. Okay, so this is kind of where angels come from. At least to my knowledge, angels are coming from the divine spark. When we do like angelic Reiki, we call on angels to come down and heal us and, you know, work with us and whatever angels you're talking to, they come through something called the divine spark. Now, here's what's interesting. I know the divine spark as an Aries sun and an Aries moon. They're the ones that create that divine spark. Where things can come through, new things can come through, these portals, if you will. So in the dream, we had this moment where whoever all of us were on Earth, all right, and this is, I'm going somewhere, so give me a moment to like formulate this, because I just had this download and I wrote it all down. I wrote like 20% down, but we had, whoever was on Earth, we were on Earth, and things seemed to be, it seemed to be normal. Like things seemed to be okay. Yet these things came down seemingly with a vengeance, seemingly with a plan. Okay, what did we just do? Mercury in Taurus. We just created a plan, a long-term methodical plan. Our mind was able to understand that we're going to need this longer-term plan in order for the upgrade in our body, in our nervous system on this eclipse in Taurus, the solar eclipse, the new moon, for the next 6 months from now forward to actually guide and lead what these next phases, these next stages will look like. But our body wasn't physically going to be able to make it in this, let's say, evolved world, okay, that we're stepping into. And mind you, when I say these things, evolved world, I am talking 15 to 17 years from now. So we have to take and put that into account as well. 15 to 17 years from now, much like this Scorpio ending eclipse is about 8 years ago, back going to 2014. So the eclipse of Scorpio, you really need to understand what was happening in 2014. And I believe I was like, in that stage, I was just at the point where I was like, look, I can't go to jail, okay, over a female. And really, like, this is the last time that I really think that I lost my, no, this is the last time I really know that I lost my mind, okay, trying to salvage what I could from a romantic relationship in 2014. Like, shit was, it was probably my craziest time frame in my life. Like, I just lost my mind. And this is what we have to be mindful of with Scorpio. Like, I am a Scorpio rising, right? And it's like, this is the simplicity. In 2014, I was on the back end of everything from, you know, 2 to 3 years prior. I was all in the process of, like, just in and out of jail, like, just fighting people out of anger, mishandled, were ready and willing to just ruin my career that didn't even get a chance to start yet, ruining everything that I just did in college or university prior. Like, this was that stage just right before 2014. And 2014 was the time I was like, okay, Pete, I knew that I had to flip the new leaf because I didn't have much choice, much like now. What was happening then is what's happening now. With this eclipse in Scorpio, it is a closing. And when you try to have, let's say, a portal, okay, and you try to put your arm through the portal, if that portal closes, that arm just falls off, okay? Understand that. And this is what was happening back in 2014 for all of us. There was a door that was closing. And if you left anything on the other side of that door, it got cut off, or it got left in that other reality, that last dimension, that last reality, that last, the other side of, let's say, that portal, for simplicity. As I say, simplicity and portal in the same word. I hope that the people on this channel can recognize that this is who I am. Which is a lot about what this is about, right? Because I am a Scorpio rising. So Scorpio risings, like, y'all are the stars coming up, right? You were the co-stars on the new moon, which was just yesterday. So, like, understand that when you have an eclipse, you already need like 7 to 10 days to be able to register what happened. And even then, you need like 2 to 3 months, literally. So we just went through one eclipse yesterday, new moon, and we don't even, I promise you, you don't really get what just happened. I promise you, even astrologers don't really get what just happened. I thank you for that thumb up. My point is, we're going through another one, another 2 weeks. Going through another eclipse. So with one eclipse alone, if no other eclipses came by it, it takes 7 to 10 days before you can even begin to remotely wonder, how did that impact your life? Even if you had the astrology report, even if you are legit an astrologer, famous at that or fucking phenomenal, you don't get to decide what the impact of those eclipses are. So I need people to understand that from a jump. And we just had the new moon one, which will take at least 6 months for it to register for real. At the base minimum, 7 to 10 days. For the ones who are really, really tuned in and you know, on their Zen shit and really taking the time and have the time, okay, to digest and register this stuff. But then even then, it takes about 2 to 3 months where those eclipse effects from just the one we had yesterday will last for another 2 to 3 months. So understand that on the base. Where at the height of it, at least by January 2023 on this last eclipse, you'll start to kind of let things click for you. And thank you all for those thumbs up. Go ahead and help your boy out and help the channel. So that's just this new moon eclipse in Taurus that happened yesterday. Now, in another 2 weeks, I think exactly, there's a second eclipse in the sister sign being Scorpio. And this one is the closures. The new moon was the openings of new beginnings and upgrades on your body so that you can actually survive. I'm not kidding. On a molecular level, the future that we're stepping into, you need to upgrade your legit molecules, the entire body, your whole nervous system, the base foundation, because otherwise you would not survive. Like, we need to understand that yes, we're in physical reality. I can touch my hand, but there's so many more things happening in the metaphysical, which is Scorpio and others, Pisces and others. In the metaphysical, if you do not upgrade your physical body, you cannot survive what is already still happening in the metaphysical. I need this to be understood as just a base concept, because what am I saying? This is why Uranus and Taurus is upgrading us. There's no downloads. People have this concept that, oh yeah, you know, I meditated and I got this major new download. And it's like, no, you're upgrading. There's nothing to download. At base minimum, there's something to remember. Okay? Like, this isn't, nobody listening to this right now, you don't even have the capacity to listen to me if you haven't lived at least a lot of past lives. Not even just 1 to 2. You don't have the capacity to listen to me if this was your first life cycle. I promise you. And if you did, then I'm not anywhere near close to doing what I should be doing, which is a bigger fucking problem for me. Okay, so what am I saying? If you're watching this channel, hey Fairy, if you're watching this channel, you've lived a lot of past lives already, because you wouldn't be able, I wouldn't be able to retain your attention span with the topics that I'm talking about right now. Okay, so with that said, understand this part. This new moon is preparing the next 6 months of what's going to have to happen as for experiences in order for your nervous system to upgrade, where you are worthy to talk, feel, listen, digest, and even act on with a sense of worth on all things magical, all things futuristic, all things where you're heading. All right. Our body is the first gate, to my understanding. It's the first gate where if your body is out of tact, okay, and I mean no disrespect when I say this next part, if your body is overweight, if your body has diabetes, if your body has to struggle against high blood pressure and hypertension, if your body has to do, this is why, if it has to do all this work, guess what you cannot focus on? The download or the upload or the positive thoughts. Okay, thank you, Sharaka. Was that Sharaka? No, I'm sorry. Ocalarste. Thank you. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. And I seen a lot of your comments too. I seen a lot of your, like, I just landed literally off the plane yesterday. Like I said, forgive me. Like, I literally was like in the airport for 12 hours. I slept in that bitch like for 3 hours. And then I woke up and then I slept for like 3. It was just annoying. Okay. It was just annoying. It was really annoying to get here, but whatever. This is Uranus and Taurus. Okay. Shaking things up so much. And I thank y'all for being in the comments, and I thank y'all for dropping those thumbs up. Help your boy out. Drop that thumbs up. Okay. All right. So I woke up from this dream, and this dream was more prophetic. So I'm going to try to get right back to that as I lead into why this talks and is important for the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the endings, the closings, that brings us back to what was happening in 2014. And like I said, in 2014, I was just flipping the new leaf where I was like, P, if you go to jail one more time, you're going to go to prison. And I don't want to go to prison. So I had to flip the new leaf, and it was a matter of I, in my own ways, could not afford to be a delinquent anymore. Okay, in my own ways, I couldn't keep fighting people. I couldn't play Robin Hood from like against like big corporations. Like I just had to stop it all, and I had to realize that why was I doing that? I was doing that because I was in pain. Okay, attached to the human space, the human world so much. And I allowed love to carry me in this way that was very toxic. It's Scorpio, okay? It's the muddy waters under the sewer. But instead of me sifting out all of the, let's say, items that does not belong, as for where I'm going to the future, I was taking the good and the bad and everything in between. I didn't take the moment to sift through the muddy waters, the sewer waters of Scorpio. Scorpio is sewer water, okay? It's carrying the shit that you poop collectively. All of us on the planet. It's taking all that shit. And you have to take the time in order to go through the death rebirth process of Scorpio to get rid of the shit. But you have to, like, one by one, realize what did you stuff under the surface, because that's what Scorpio does. It collects the water. That's what makes the water so turbulent. It can't get to the gem. It can't get to the purity of its own individual light until it does what? Okay, it has to address the shit one by one, but it's impossible. So it has to stuff some things under the rug, because Scorpio goes so deep, and it has collectively and all the interpersonal shit at the height of the interpersonal signs, starting from Virgo, Libra, Leo, starting from Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio is at the height of interpersonals before we ascend into the God space, okay? So you can't go to the God space. I love you too, thank you. Thank you, DJB. Before you go to the God space, guess what? You have to handle and deal with the height of all of the heart chakra, okay? Trauma, dirt, sewage, shit. You have to sift through all of that, because your heart, my heart, in 2014 is exactly like, more like 2013 for me, I think, was when it was like, you know, I would say 20, so like 2011 to 2013 was a 2-year time span where most of the mucky waters, the mucky turbulence that put my heart in a space of like, I just was done, okay? I was completely deranged. If I'm being honest, I was deranged. I attached so much to a lover. Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio rising. I attached so much to a lover around that 2011 to 2013 time frame that my life as I knew it was essentially about to be over, okay? In so many ways, whether by me myself, okay? Yes, I said by me either killing myself, by the fucking law taking me out and put me in prison for longer than I can afford, okay? Or there's so many other whatever outlets. The simplicity of it is I was almost done. Why? Because this is me as a Scorpio rising at that stage, because there's eclipse coming in 2 more weeks. You have to bring it back to that time frame. And what was happening during that time frame, I never created my own frame. I never created my own frame. As a masculine presence, I never created my own frame. So even though I'm built to handle the divine feminine, I was not ready then. We have to change the story, because all it was about was, it was a training step. I was not ready then because it was not meant for me then. I had to, in the last 8 years, have X, Y, and Z lessons before I can ever begin to remotely digest what was that really about. And this eclipse coming in 2 weeks this is what it's about. This is what it's about. It was a reminder for Pernell. This portal, 8 years ago, 2014, this portal is closing, okay? It's getting smaller and smaller. And I was trying to stick my hand. This is going to be my hand. I know that's probably really weird, but fuck it, leave me alone. I don't have 20 hands. I was trying to stick my hand. It's just going to cut it off. That's my point. And this cut is very rapid, okay? It's very unforgiving. With Uranus and Taurus in play, and we're in Taurus season, so we're realizing that everything is shaking up. The ground is nothing that we can previously recognize, okay? This is including our resources and our money and how we used to get money and what we valued in the forms, what forms of currency did we value. So let's say that's the dollar. Let's just say for shits and giggles right now, that's the US dollar or the pound or the euro. And we valued this at the height. I thank y'all for being here. 12 people in here, let me get 12 thumbs up. 14 people in here, let me get 14 thumbs up. I appreciate y'all. What we used to value is Uranus and Taurus. We are, as a whole generation, all of us alive right now, we are not valuing what we used to value as the forms of currencies or resources. One of the main resources, let's just be real, was the dollar. Okay, it was, what's up, Tiffany? It was the dollar. It was money. It was even the digital currency in your bank account of your credit card. We used to value that so much. But this is one of the things that's getting cut in this portal. Okay, like understand, like we're hopping through back-to-back portals. To hop through one portal, I need you to understand that there's a certain amount of training that you have to go through. Otherwise, if you go through a portal without a certain training, it's like an astronaut going into space and never doing his or her geometric G-force training, okay? Where when they go up there, they're just gonna keep fucking vomiting, blah, 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 blah. And then the mission will fail, right? Because you can't steer the ship if all you can do is vomit. Why? Because your insides have not been prepared and trained to go through this next portal. That's why Uranus and Taurus exist, because our physical bodies will not make this ascension, this prophecy dream that I was having last night. So as I get more into the dream and bring you, that'll bring us as a bridge to the lunar eclipse in Scorpio with these closings that I was previously saying. And I do thank y'all. I saw y'all pretty much doubled up on those thumbs up. Y'all dope. Really, I appreciate you. There was essentially like, it felt more like, because they came out of the sky, okay? So like, it felt more like angels came through this portal. Hit that thumbs up for your boy. Yep, appreciate it. Love you very. It pretty much felt like, I mean, they look like just humans, okay? Nobody had wings or nothing like that. There was no angel wings, nothing. They just look like people. But these people did drop from the sky, and they were stronger. They were faster. Okay, every futuristic movie you've ever seen, they were like that. And it seemed like there was this serum that people were taking. And this serum was like a serum of magic and technology in combination. And it would allow you to regenerate. Now, here's how this went back to my dream I just told you about. My dream went back to my actual 2014 that I told you prior. One of my enemies that I had to fight, and eventually, in the most painful way, like it pained me to do it, I had to literally beat her to a pulp. In my dream, I had to beat her to a pulp. I had to officially be the one to say, you are dead. You are done. You do not hold power over me anymore. You do not hold power over me anymore. So I had to end the dream, beat her to a pulp, and it pained me to do it. I literally was like, I kept trying not to fight her. I was like, look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But here's the reality. She was too strong. Okay, she's this futuristic fucking god coming out of the goddamn sky with this futuristic serum that allowed her to regenerate and recover. So I had to beat her in a sense so bad that she was now unrecognizable. Now, as that scene goes on, in that process of taking too long to whoop her ass, she whooped my ass, okay? The longer I held on, thinking that I could maintain this, thinking that I could talk her out of it, thinking that I could do something to change the fucking reality of the situation, that she was only there to teach me to remember who I am. Because 8 years ago, I completely denied who I am. I had these dreams from fucking a child, a little boy. I had this knowing that I'm speaking about to you now from a little boy. But that's not accepted in society. And somewhere along the way, I decided to say, you know what, fuck off. And it's the same thing that I did in past lives during like medieval times of things that I remember, and other times even before that, of humans just were not ready to receive the level of conversation that I'm talking and pushing now. So what did I have to do? I had to wait for humans to catch up to a level of just beginning to embrace what is considered spirituality today, spirituality now, which is a whole bunch of shit. Okay, so we're gonna leave that as a big ass category. But to be willing to embrace divinity today, okay, divinity, spirituality, whatever that stuff is, at a more modern time where technology what I'm talking to you through could reach each and every little single individual in India, in fucking Dubai, in South Africa, in Bali, in the United States, in Colombia, where now I don't need and you as well, you don't need your local community to sit there and respect you and to think, oh, yeah, you're not crazy. You don't need that anymore. This is the whole purpose of what this dream as prophecy was talking about, that you no longer have the opportunity to wait for the people in your local community, your family members, the people you love and are closest and dearest to. You no longer have the opportunity to wait for them to get on board with what you know. You no longer have that chance. Doors are closing and new ones are opening. And you don't want to be caught in the limbo in between two different portals, because you're just gonna fucking wait for millenniums. I need you to start understanding and thinking of your body less as a physical body that has 100 years and more like a soul who is timeless. So what am I saying? One, don't get caught in the middle, which looks like in reality, not making a decision, not choosing a side. And there's no good or bad, but just a side, choosing where am I going? And this is what this is what Mercury in Taurus was helping us to do. It was helping us to formulate our minds around, what does the plan look like? What do I need as for resources? What do I value about my own personal comfort for my home? Where will I essentially buy fertile land? Not doing work on the land, but where will I buy land to make the plan that will basically propel me into the future? What's going to be very stable for me? Something that's not going to sink. There can't be water under the fucking ground. You know, the ground needs to be able to have the ability for vegetation and being able to crop, you know, your fruits and your veggies. You need, and you already have done, the considerations. Now I would hope from there you create the plan. Waiting 1,000 lifetimes, being in limbo. I feel you, Pernell. Yeah, you don't want to be in limbo for thousands of lifetimes. That shit sucks. I'm pretty sure that I did that once. And I made sure that I didn't want to remember it, because even though I do have a Pluto in the 12th house of Scorpio, so sometimes I just be so lost in that shit. It feels like I'm in a damn limbo for thousands of lifetimes. So now here's what's interesting. I finally beat the woman to a pulp, okay? An ex-girlfriend who actually I couldn't even fully recognize. I just know she was an ex. She didn't even have like a real ex. I don't even know who she really was. If I think about it outside my dream, it basically was the woman 8 to 9 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, when I was in this stage of my life where I was so attached to the human world and so attached to finding the love of my life that I was losing my shit, and I was unhinged, I was completely deranged, and I was a menace to society. I was afraid of myself, very much so. And I made sure that because I was afraid of myself, and the fact that I was not going to address that I was the problem, which is ultimately what the dream came back down to at the end. It came back down to I was the problem. Okay, as a Scorpio rising, I was self-sabotaging myself. I was self-destructing. I was playing, okay, Pluto 12th house for me, and yeah, I got Pluto in 12th house. I was playing the victim, not allowing the transformation. So basically, by me avoiding the transformation, me avoiding choosing the side of what I'm telling you right now, 8 to 10 years ago, by me not choosing my path, my direction, and waiting for this other person to get on board together, meaning I was willing to flex, I was willing to change, I was willing to not be myself, I was willing to do all these things and so much more just to be together. And then what? It would have ended regardless. Okay, so or worse, more likely worse. More likely worse, because again, I was fucking out of my shit during this time frame. But what did I not realize? What was it really happening back then? And this is what I need you all to look back to 2014, and even a couple years prior to like 2011 to 2014. 2014 specifically, because you will have an understanding of where were you in 2014, mentally and physically and emotionally. And it will play back into the couple years prior that probably got you in that fucking state where you were like, all right, I got to change some stuff. Something's got to change, because you realized that things were going to change with or without you. Okay. So mind you, in this dream now, I started off, there's a lot of people around us. It's like a whole village. But it seemed like who and whatever came through this divine spark, let's say this portal, it seemed like we all had our doppelganger. We all had our battle. We all had our like one-on-one with somebody. So if you look at 2014, you'll know who that somebody was. And then from there, I need you to just understand that you probably kept meeting that person in a different human form. That would have been a new relationship. That would have been a boss at a new job. You would have kept ending and opening and ending and opening and ending and opening, and the person would have changed. So for me, the girlfriend changed, but what happened? What stayed the same? The story, the trauma, the hurt carried from relationship to relationship. It just kept staying the same until finally, you know, whatever, like a couple months ago, after 10 years or so, different people, I finally said no. I have made my decision, and this portal is closed. I'm over here. I'm over here. I made my choice. I'm over here. I'm on this side now. 2014, I was finally able to get my divorce. Boom. So that will likely be it. And like I said a little bit earlier, if y'all notice, I have like the remnants of a sty. And one of the spiritual meanings that I'm familiar with, you see my eye right here? One of the spiritual meanings that I'm familiar with a sty is, you know, when we feel like we're going through loss or we're going through separation, okay? We're going through like a moment of despair where something we love most has to be ripped away, or, you know, there's no choice. In general, and I know this, why? Because it kind of links, it's one of the ways that our body has evolved. Taurus, the body has evolved with Uranus and Taurus season, and we're now realizing we can see, smell, taste, hear, and actually more than the five senses. This is what's actually beginning to happen. Remember that human beings have devolved. We've devolved from like 160 plus senses to 5: smell, taste, touch, hearing, sight. We have 5 left, where it's magical to have the 6th sense. Like, ooh, I have a 6th sense. It's like, no, bitch. You know, they realized that science couldn't keep up with, oh yes, the human only have 5 senses. Like, do you really only have 5 senses? Like, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? You over here astral projecting, you don't call that a sense? You know, you over here able to, in your own way, witness paranormal activity, and you don't have another sense? Another separate one versus smelling and touch? I mean, there's so many more senses that we can kind of play out. So I'm going to skip that part and say what's happening is we've devolved from 160 plus senses. Let's just call this part of your supernatural abilities, part of your magical abilities, part of your, what makes you more than human. Okay, let's just say that. What makes you more than human? 160 that we can even record. There's likely more than that. We're upgrading. During this Uranus transit and Taurus, we're upgrading. This was coming in the form of Saturn in Aquarius now in my dream, where Saturn is all about progression and it's time. Saturn is time. Aquarius is progression. Okay, so how do we progress as time does as well? All right. And it's a place full of a lot of karma too, right? Like Saturn is where karma is kind of dealt out, and Aquarius is from the fucking future. That's what makes it progressive. So it's like our karma from the future is in a sense preparing us today to be able to withstand the upgrades, like I spoke on, like astronauts, right? Who have to go through their G-force training before they can actually physically withstand going into space, a completely different atmosphere. Something where equipment is required in order to survive and breathe, right? This is what's happening. I had a friend in my dream who was an ally. And he was like, I was dying. Okay, to me to have to go through this fight with the ex 8, 10 years ago, my dream, for me to have to actually beat her to a pulp. And he was a Scorpio. That was before I knew he was a Scorpio rising. Yeah. Yeah, like this 8 to 10 years ago relationship, this woman was a Scorpio. I don't even know her other placements. I have no idea. I didn't know astrology 10 years ago. At least in this lifetime, I didn't remember 10 years ago. But she was a Scorpio. She was a Scorpio. And I had no idea that I was a Scorpio rising at that point. So I had no idea that she was showing me how, in a way, that I was rising. And one of the best abilities of Scorpios is to be able to use the things, the resources, the energy of others in order to transmute it for yourself as a rising. Okay, as a sun, you have to apply that to your house. Okay, if it's 6th house, then it's like you're going to use other people's things for your body or your daily routine to get better. Okay, so you could be dating somebody. Let's say if it's 6th house, for example, you're dating somebody and you're realizing, oh, this person wakes up and they eat oatmeal every day, and they then go for a walk and they then, brush their teeth. So you're thinking for yourself how Scorpio would kind of transmute it. 10-10 on screen would then be, okay, hey, well, I'm not doing any of that. And so I'm going to absorb the energy. And the energy in this instance is the research you've done on that person, of their routine, to make your routine personally better. So this is like one of the abilities of Scorpio, right? So to kind of just apply that to the full moon it's coming up, my question is, though things are coming to an end because it is an eclipse, it is a lunar eclipse, it is a full moon closing, though things are coming to an end, what did you take from that relationship? What did you take from that exchange? What did you, go back to 2014, what did you take from that divorce? I saw a divorce. What did you take from that other Scorpio rising that I saw? I forget who said that. Was it Kaisha? What did you take from those things? I just lost my house. Bought the 100 acres wood. Is not plugged into internet. That's why my internet's gonna just crash. Yep. Waiting for another 1,000 line. Yep. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate you on that. Dope. So, my question, I have a Scorpio moon. I had no idea. Scorpio moon's beast. To be honest, I rock with the Scorpio moon. I think people be playing on that Scorpio moon joint. And I won't lie, like I used to be scared of Scorpio moons. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I was thinking about it from my own hurt and my own pain, right? Because I was like, ooh, the moon's in this fall in Scorpio. I'm like, fuck all that. Because I dated a Scorpio one time, and I'm like, I'm not doing that thing again. I'm not dating a Scorpio again. And the irony is like, one of the best people I've ever met is a Scorpio moon. Like, that's the irony. But this is a part of what's happening. This is why the closures are going on this full moon eclipse in Scorpio, May 15th. It's trying to say, look, as we close this portal from 8 to 10 years ago, what did you take from this experience? Experience, not lesson. What did you take from this experience? That you're able now to see through the dark of the story and only take the light and leave the currents, the emotional currents out. Why? Because Saturn in Aquarius, Gemini right now, and Mercury, okay, the moon should probably be in Mercury by like tomorrow, so you'll be able to catch up to this as well. If it's not there right now today, it'll also be there by like tomorrow. Has the ability to take the objective mind, okay? I'm going to pull up an astrology chart right now. Has the ability to take up the objective mind. The objective mind goes, I don't need this. It goes, I don't need this. It goes, I could see where this used to serve me, actually. It used to serve me, but it doesn't serve me anymore. What can you, before this portal closes on this eclipse, what are you taking that's going to help you transmute that particular energy to help you make more money in alignment with your value systems and your nervous system. Okay? Literally. Because the Taurus and Scorpio, you have to understand, like, I think people keep forgetting this part. Like, it is simply as simple as this. It is money. Okay? It is resources. It is your home. It is the things you share with your partner or your lover. So what were the things that you shared with your partner or your lover, or whoever brought you all this trauma and this pain? Generally is a lover, right? Like, it can be a bunch of shit. It could be a bunch of shit. It could be I lost my home. It could be that my car got totaled in 2014. You know, a lot of these things can happen. Yes, it's all of the resources. But let's also be serious. Like, I think sometimes people are just like scared away about talking about money or resources. I thank you for that thumbs up. What what did that lover or that accident or that traumatic event or that stabbing or that death of a relative, you know, or the loss of of an investment in the crypto space, what did that experience remind you of? And how can you transmute that traumatic and dramatic moment back in 2014? How can you transform that energy? All right? How can you transmute it to align with the future version of you? What systems and responsibilities, Saturn in Aquarius, do you have to yourself, Taurus season, to feel stable, comfortable, and secure, to build, Taurus, on top of a secure, Taurus, foundation, Taurus? Not the actual work, the plan. What is the plan? Not the work, the plan of how you're going to transmute the energy that reminded you today, or more so like May 15th, but everything from now to the 15th, back to 2014. This is how you're going to maximize this energy. Oh my God, 10 messages. What the fuck's going on? Okay. Wow. All right. Sorry. There's so much happening. All right. So I'm looking at a chart now. Saturn in Aquarius at 24 degrees, and it will be there. So this is the simplicity of that Aquarian futuristic energy. It's saying, look, what do you know you just have to surrender to? Okay. Yep. It's in the ninth. It's in the ninth house. Okay. So there are certain legal changes, moments of justice that will just be delivered out. Social justice specifically. And this looks like, let's say for an example, I just went to the airport in Miami. And Miami, you don't have to wear your mask. All right. In Florida, you don't have to wear your mask even in the airport. When I first started, I was traveling in the middle of the quarantine, and you definitely had to wear your fucking mask in the airport, no matter what state. Then apparently a week ago, I'm now in Connecticut. You don't have to wear your mask here either, and I think not even New York. And now I haven't been in the States, so that was like, I was like, oh shit, like what? So this is ninth house. This is social justice in a sense being delivered out, progressive, where it's like, look, like we were never going to forever wear the mask. It was never going to be a forever thing. So this is one of the things that, you know, if you're pro or you're against, would it matter to side? This is one of the newer apparent social justice updates of like rules, Saturn and Aquarius progressing, because it was never going to work forever. But beyond that, I want to look at the actual day of the eclipse, which is the 15th. Okay, we got the 17th, boom, and we got the 15th. Okay, so Jupiter will be in Aries at that time frame. Venus is going to be in Aries at that time frame. I think Venus went into Aries like today, by the way, and I'm going to help you understand what that means. Now, here's what's ironic. Okay, Venus at that time frame is already in its fall. I heard a congratulations, so who we talking about? Somebody congrats. thank y'all for just commenting in here. I'm gonna spend the time to really put this message up, but keep talking to each other, and just know that I'm very grateful for that in the meanwhile. And I'm gonna address everybody's comment after. Now on the eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, excuse me. There's some tension going on. There is a bang out actually. Part of your fortune and the structures that you're going to have on the day to day, and what that looks like for work, and in order for you to make money, will force you to essentially square off with Venus in Aries at 14 degrees. It's an exact conjunction, which means what? It's very tense. This is a crash. What you value about money, you are not going to be able to really construct what your career looks like, what your public and social reputation is. You will not be able to construct it if you move too quickly on what you value. Okay, so let's just say during this time frame, you're like, look, I value, this particular crypto investment, and you just jump on it. That's not the recommendation for me. Or if you like jump into it, like saying, look, like I want to be known more, not just the actual investment itself, but like if you don't responsibly do the work and value the day-to-day work that it would take for this new Aries venture to create and build money, and you just move too quickly on it because you want to be known as somebody who, and this is just an example, and you just want to be known as somebody who is in that space that's really boss and diggity with it, it's going to be, during this eclipse time, it's going to be tough. Why? Because what also is in Aries at that time, conjunct Venus at 14 degrees, is Chiron. So, Venus is already not the strongest in Aries. Actually, it's considerably one of the weaker placements for Venus. Venus wants to be a little bit more like, it wants to be a little slower, and is more concerned with the beauty of seeing the beauty in all things. And Aries moves a little bit too quickly to see the beauty in all things. It doesn't allow things to progress. So whatever wound that you have around and within your own identity about how you value yourself at the not at the beginning stages of value systems being created, but at the middle, in a sense, not the end either, because this is the second decan. So it's like the middle stages of you, which is pretty much probably all of you listening right now. Like, you're probably more in the middle of your life. Like, your value will likely, what you value and how you value things will likely transform and progress again. Okay, but for now, we're like around the middle, and Chiron being there says something very clearly. It says, look, you are going to have to be healing this part of your personal identity and your character role, who you decide you're going to be. Okay, whatever new adventures you decide to take in the space of your career, because I know that right now, because we don't value Uranus and Taurus, because we don't value the things that we used to, including our body, our health. Look at that. Thank you. Okay, I gotta learn how to say your name because I see it. Oclartse. Thank you, Oclartse. Where are you from? Or where is your family from? So because you don't value things the same, what that is going to do is your career is going to change. Everybody's career is changing. I came out to Connecticut, and just last night, and like everybody, my family, everybody got new jobs, everybody got new cars, everybody got new gadgets in the crib. I put the water on yesterday, and the water had a light that came from it. I was like, oh shit, like I value that because I hate using lights. I'm going to use candles only. I think there's candles behind me. I'm only going to use candles. So when the light came on the thing, I'm like, that's a resource. Okay, my water fountain is a resource. I turned the goddamn water fountain on, and the light came on. I'm like, oh shit. So this is like, to me, that's like super futuristic. I mean, like, maybe I'm a geek, and maybe like, I don't know what's going on, but like, that was cool to me. Okay, so long story short, because we're not valuing the same resources, the same, we're not putting the same value on the dollar or the same value on whatever you used to purchase, your career is going to go through a change. Literally, the work you're going to do is going to be very different. I know a lot of people on this channel, that might look like taking on more spiritual ventures. Okay, so it's like deciding that I can make it. I can make money doing tarot. I can make money being a YouTuber. I can make money And I don't want to say make money. I want to say more so, I value getting paid for tarot. I value getting paid as a YouTuber. I value getting paid to do blah, blah, blah. Now that's why I said that was critical, because it would naturally be stronger, but Chiron is going to make us go through some very painful identity shifts. Now, Jupiter's also there. And this is going to be very good for your gains. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be very good for your hopes and your dreams. As long as you can surrender to realizing what is the realistic intent, because it's in Taurus at 24 degrees. If you can basically embrace what is the realistic expansion of your character look like, what does traveling abroad actually look like on this new start, like, and I'm gonna be honest, like, because this is in the ninth house, this is a great time. Jupiter in the ninth house, which is ninth house is Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter's home is Sag. So it's already nice and friendly with another fire sign like Aries. This is very positive if you want to take a trip abroad. When I say a trip, I mean more so like a brand new start. Because mind you, this lunar eclipse in Scorpio is a closure. It's an ending. I thank you all for those thumbs up. We officially have more thumbs up than viewers, and that makes me happy. Thank you very much. Jupiter's already really home there. So this is like, look, any new philosophy that you've created and expanded your character with, okay, literally expanded how you identify with yourself, it's going to be very positive for you to actually make your hopes and your dreams come true. Literally, it's aligning you actually. I would even, okay, look, I'm seeing something new. I would even say taking trips abroad around this time frame as a part of your closure, as a part of a gift to yourself, more so. I would literally say as a part of a gift to yourself to expand who you think you are, will literally pay very well with your destiny and how it plays into your career. Wherever you're gonna go during this time frame, your career will look, feel, yeah, it will look and feel more aligned with your nervous system and create a certain sense of stability and comfort within you. It doesn't even have to mean you have to stay abroad, but even if you took a trip abroad over a sea, wherever you're checking in from, even if you came back, you would come back more aligned with your destiny, because the North Node is in Taurus at that 22nd degree, which is right playing into everything career and how you're going to be known. But at the same time, you're going to have to actually surrender to each and every one of your feelings. 1212 on screen when I said that. Excuse me. That's confirmation. 1212 to 24. Look at 12 and 12 is 24. I was right on point with that. Your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations will very likely come to pass, come to fruition, and help you expand who you ever believed you were, as long as it has to do something with like creating stability for yourself, though. Like this trip that you take, I don't really believe that issue. It could be a dream trip, okay, because Neptune is there in Pisces at 24 degrees. It could be a dream trip that you've always wanted to take, but I believe primarily if it's a new trip that is helping you to expand your own personal philosophy, that is how your gains will come. And it has to make you feel safe. You should feel secure. Even if it shakes things up, you should feel secure in this venture. And how you'll know what's happening with this is actually if you just take a moment to talk to people. Literally, like, talk to your friends of friends. Because Gemini is in the 3rd degree, but the 11th house. Talk to your friends of friends. This doesn't have to be your very closely related people. This is all happening on the eclipse in Scorpio, okay? The grand closures. Talk to your friends of friends. So, like, right now, like, most of the people in the comments right now, like, from what I see, I don't think any of you have my actual number, but I'm like a friend of a friend somehow, some way. Like, let's say, for example, I know a lot of you came from the Peace Dealers channel and you somehow found me. That makes me like your friend of friend. By you talking and sharing ideas and your talents and your abilities and even speaking on the truth, you are more likely to understand what that dream looks like and actually take action on what are the spiritual pursuits that you're going to need to take in order for that career to evolve. Okay, so when I say something like what are the spiritual pursuits that you need to take, this is 22nd degrees of Mars. So this is like, look, taking action and asserting yourself into spirituality, into divinity. Like what this looks like, you know, you actually showing up on public stage as somebody who's running meditation classes now. It's like, nope, look, I'm on my kumbaya shit and I'm doing meditation class now, and you being known for that, and taking that leap and actually asserting yourself on being I want to say a spiritual teacher, a spiritual guru. I really want to say that because it's in the ninth house. Mars is in the ninth house. This is very powerful for somebody who wants to take on a new spiritual pursuit and have it be a part of their career, have it be a part of who and how and why people see you as a prophet. Like literally, like I really mean it like that. Uranus is going through a opposition with the moon. Oh, that's brutal. It's 15 and 16. All right. So what we're doing, the moon is at 16 degrees. No, because the moon, this is earlier in the day, because the moon is going to be 25 degrees during the actual eclipse. So I don't have my timing right on this one. That's not the exact time of the eclipse, because I know it's at 25 degrees. Can I change my local time? Fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna leave that alone for now because it is what it is. This is gonna be good enough. So I'm gonna kind of get back to like away from the science of it all and kind of really explain the rest of this eclipse through part of this dream. I'm gonna take a moment to see what's up in the comments first, and I also want to thank y'all for being here. Pretty name. Yeah, it is a pretty name. My stellium is in my ninth house. Okay, so Kaisha, are you teaching? That's my first question. If you have a stellium in the ninth house, are you teaching? And if you are, what are you teaching? I feel you, Tiffany. And okay, I had to see that I was single mom of 5, even while married. My ex had a double life of 2 families and married very strong, and married to a very strong woman. I seem like I missed some stuff. My divorce taught me that I didn't love myself as much as I thought I did. Yep, same thing. And the reality is, 8 years ago, that relationship I talked about that was so fucking put me off hinged. It taught me that I didn't love myself at all. It's not like, if I'm being honest, during that time frame, I didn't even think about ever like, oh, do I love myself or do I not love myself? I never really considered that shit. And the answer was very simple. No, P, you didn't love yourself 8 years ago, period. It was just the simplicity of the truth. For me. I didn't see what I was doing myself because I trusted him fully and completely. Same. I have learned to trust myself. I have learned to trust myself and trust others again. And this is what some of this dream was about. Okay, this is what some of this closing and the end 29 degrees of Venus in Pisces. Wow. I dated a girl with 29 degrees in Pisces Venus. That's exactly my MC in 9th house. I'm from USA, but I moved to Sweden. Sweden was kind of what I got, yo. I was thinking like Norwegian type joint. Or like, what's it called? Scandinavian. Should I come visit you guys? Fuck yeah. Why not? All right. So thank you all for being here once again. I'm going to tell you the second part of this eclipse. This is with those thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Help the channel, help it spread to get people to hear this type of information, because I really do believe in it, if I'm being honest. And I'm always being honest. Fucking Aries. Hello. Okay. So there was something important as I bring you into my dream journal. My magically colorful dream journal. My shit started off, it said, honestly, what the fuck? So many plot twists. The end of the world was and is already in action. Okay, so look, I had to fight the future of what I loved so dearly. So this is the interesting how it kind of started off. Like, I had to fight the future of what I loved so dearly. And eventually, like I said, I beat it to a pulp, But afterwards, I had an ally who was a male. And he found me in critical condition. And he was looking for this syringe, this serum that everybody from the future was taking to upgrade their DNA, to upgrade how fast they recovered, how fast and strong they were. They were just like superior human beings. If I'm being honest, like whatever they were, mind you, like I said, in a different video, and about 50 years from now, I really do predict that we're not gonna look like humans. Like we're literally going to change shapes. I was in an Aztec temple like 3-4 days ago in Mexico, and they would sculpt these skulls, and the skulls, you know, my friend was like, you know, yeah, these are skulls, and I'm like, those skulls don't look like human skulls. Now, they had the image, Aztec, Mayans, Incans, whatever, they had the image of what a skull looked like at a certain point. Okay, they had the image of what a skull looked at a certain. So where did they get the image from? Because this is the thing, right? The mind, the imagination can only really imagine things that it has already kind of seen, and it can kind of morph it and turn it into different things. Yeah, sure. But ultimately it comes from some sort of a picture of something. And my point behind this is the skulls of what the Aztecs were carving out and designing as a part of their rituals and other stuff. They didn't look like the human skulls that we know look like today. And when I look at the astrology, in about 50 years from now, I really see us being more of an essence, like really like more of like less of a human altogether. I mean, I don't know. We might not even have a bone structure, quite frankly. Like we might, I really don't believe that like everything would change. As the 3 densities fuse and merge with the 4th density, the 5th density, the 6th density. I've been saying this for a while. And in this futuristic quote unquote dream that I had, everybody was taking this serum. It was kind of like the fountain of youth, but easily accessible for everybody. And the fountain didn't just make you young. It was like the fountain of the future in a sense. And that, one of the things, like I'm telling you, this ex-girlfriend of mine that I beat to a pulp, she was unrecognizable. So you can only imagine my like, what the fuck, when she came back to form in like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm walking around, my eyes are shut closed, like I got my ass whooped. She whooped my ass. Literally, look, my eyes like half shut closed with this sty. Like, look at the irony. It's so crazy, right? And the ally, the guy, was finally getting ready to give me the syringe, but then the woman came back and she was like there, and I'm looking at her like, how the fuck did she do that? And he was like, oh, you have to stab him with the syringe in the arm. And the ex that I just whooped her ass was like, no, you have to stab him in the ass. You know the deal. What are you doing? And I'm now completely unable to make the choice, because in order for me to fight my own demons, essentially, in order for me to fight my own past and get to the point where I can get closer and ready to release the story of my past back in 2014. Everybody check your time frames. 2014. What were you doing then? What state of mind? Look at pictures on Google, Facebook, whatever. And I thank y'all for commenting with each other in the comments in the chat. I really appreciate that, because I know that people are doing such deep healing in the chats and in the comments. And I just want to say that as it keeps growing, it gets a little tougher and tougher for me to moderate and actually like look at the comments in real time rather than going back. But I do want to say that I do see them. I do appreciate y'all. And that for me is less about helping the channel, rather more about y'all helping each other. So that's what I mean. I mean that from my heart. But y'all all divine as fuck, so y'all know that. I don't gotta explain it. I had to come to a choice. Eventually, who I thought was the friend, who I thought was the villain, it flipped again. Okay? And the irony was, my friend tried to stab me in the arm. The ex-girl who I beat to a pulp tried to stab me in the butt. She eventually won the argument, and she stabbed me in the butt, left cheek, right cheek, and then on the side of like my oblique. And I healed. I came back to life. She was right. Which now made me want to get like, well, what the fuck was my friend doing? Who I thought was my friend, right? Who I didn't beat to a pulp. And, you know, ironically, his role wasn't one of my enemy. It wasn't one of someone trying to deceive me at all, which is what wanted to become the next story that I created in my head. Refusing to allow it to close, the portal to close, okay? Lunar Eclipse in Scorpio. Trying to find the next dramatic thing to distract me. which might be, oh shit, who I thought was betraying me didn't betray me. This person betrayed me, who I thought wasn't going to betray me, and who I thought was helping me. In reality, he as well was helping me, even though he would have probably fucked me up and killed me by accident. It was more a matter of if I let him. Because when the dream came down to it, it came down to really a test of my own personal discernment. I wrote this somewhere. It came down to a test of my own personal discernment. Okay, right here. It came a test of me recognizing that, you know, 8 to 10 years ago, I can't blame myself so critically anymore. You know, I just cannot continue to look at it in the ways that I did. I can't look at in the ways that I lost my job as, you know, these people were against me. In reality, it's like they were for me. Why and how? Because they taught me how to not be so wrapped in my emotions that I was unable to lead as a masculine divine figure. Because masculine energy cannot lead from a place of emotion. We must lead from a place of logic, while still being able to be and experience and digest what emotional intelligence is. And understand that I have it as a male, as a divine masculine figure. I have it. And that these experiences right now in my dream, it's showing me that, Pernell, this has aided you in your discernment. These experiences have aided you in your objective mind. These experiences have aided you in the knowledge that you need and require in order to decide. These experiences have aided me in the art of surrender. Because I couldn't help myself. I was so whooped up myself that I could not stick myself with the needle, nor did I know where. I only had the option to use discernment to decide who was I going to allow, who and what was I going to trust. And in reality, it was neither the woman or the friend. It was myself. The dream was bringing me back to being able to survive and thrive in the new world that is forming. The world that we know is coming to a close. I promise you that. And the world that we knew was what? Relying on who? The who doesn't matter, but the what. Relying on things, people, and places that only look to benefit themselves, to benefit their own pockets, to benefit what they valued, what it valued. Which means what? What was the dream really about? In order to survive into the future that we're going to, into the world that is basically coming to a close as we knew it, and opening a brand new world that we don't know at all, that we can't predict. Astrology, fucking Kabbalah, doesn't matter. We can't predict it. Almost 40 years old and just learning about my, okay. Saturn in Aquarius is really structuring and building out the future. Okay, it's helping us to set the systems in order for us to essentially like automate our responsibilities and our duties to humanity, to creating a society, the hopes and the dreams that we as people need to take very seriously. Saturn, in order for us to progress into the future that's coming in our lifetime. We need this upgrade from Uranus and Taurus for our body. Wow, look, I cut my finger, Mars is cutting. I cut my finger cooking, and like I legit like sliced right through my shit too. And this finger in palmistry is Capricorn. Okay, so when I say this finger, I mean this top part. Only right here is Capricorn. Only right here is Capricorn, and that's where I cut. And I cut through the nail. Okay, so I cut through the hard part, which was this dream, which is Scorpio. Scorpio is run by Mars and Pluto. We have to understand that. And Mars happens where all the cutting is where Mars happens. Sharp object, knives, stabbings, cut. So Scorpio leading us to this cut through, because it cut through, of the old structures. Literally. Pluto. Did I say Pluto? Pluto's also Scorpio, right? Pluto is in Capricorn. What's Capricorn? The structures. What the height of the society and the world we've created looks like now. It's getting ready to implode in another 1 to 2 years. I forget the fucking exact time frame. So if somebody knows when Pluto implodes, go ahead and drop the date. I'm sure that could be like a quick Google search. And this is where our body and our understanding and our knowledge, Uranus and Taurus, the understanding, our progressive understanding of how our body is linked to our intuition. I told you I got the sty right here. It's communicating to me this loss and this separation. I have the cut, Scorpio, full moon, lunar eclipse, Scorpio, in what? Capricorn. Banging. Well, because that's a different theory. Whatever. I'll leave that alone. Yeah, like I said, the female in my dream was actually right. She got me to come back to life, yet she was the harder one to trust. And the reality of this dream, it came back down to this. I, as a Scorpio rising, I beat myself to a pulp. And it linked right back to my Mars and not my Mars. It linked right back to my Scorpio in the 12th house of Pluto. I'm my greatest threat. That was the lesson. I am my greatest threat. And the lesson was that I have no more space to be a victim, period. And the realization that the self-destructive behaviors that I have, it must end. It must end. This is how this all played out. And, you know, there was one separate side dream, whereas like I had two friends. Well, I had one friend and that friend had a friend in my home. And, you know, I was very tired. I was very tired. Like, I just wanted to be my friends. Like, I didn't want to be teaching people. I didn't want to be having to fulfill some responsibility or duty from a cosmic standpoint. I just wanted to fucking chill out with my friends. And so I had a friend over who had a friend with her. And out of nowhere, they just started setting up like a fucking iPod. Or what is that thing called? A tripod. They started setting up a tripod and put their camera on and was getting ready to film like some business content. And I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And it was kind of like these shocked faces like, oh, what? Like, we gotta go. And I'm like, I mean, like, get out. Like, get out. And it was kind of like the gaslighting was on the like, oh, what do you mean, yada, 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 yada. And it kind of gave me these, these faces like I was wrong for telling somebody to get out of my house because they were doing things that I didn't really want to do, things that I didn't value. Now, this is the same friend I had a conversation with the other day as I see a red robin out the window right now. I haven't seen a red robin in a long time, but if I'm correct, I think it means to have confidence in yourself. I can't really remember. If anybody knows what a red robin is in the comments, whatever the spiritual meaning of red robin, tell me and maybe we can see what that applies to. So my point is, I just had this conversation recently and I had made mentions of like, oh my God, like my life has been like, boom, you know, it's like I'm learning more and more about elemental magic and fucking witchcraft, and like I'm remembering all these things about my past life, and I was like overly excited. And this conversation, pretty much from that exact moment, as soon as I made the mention of things I was most excited about, that conversation said, whew, and it was the same thing. I'm not kidding. About 1 to 2 seconds later, I was like, I'm gonna go. I didn't say I gotta go do something. I didn't say, oh, I got this next meeting coming up. I didn't make up some fucking lie. It was very obvious that the way I said what I said, it was very obvious that I see that you don't respect what I'm talking about. You don't respect what I value. And that's actually not an issue. So I'm not gonna try to gaslight you in reverse or fuck with you and reverse psychologically and make you feel bad about the fact that I just don't value the people who don't value me for what I'm really good at. So I'm just going to go. I don't want to make you feel bad, and I don't want to make a scene on myself. I'm just going to go. And it was kind of the same thing with the guy in this dream. My friend was like, stab him in the arm. That's how we're going to save his life. The one who I beat to a pulp was like, no, we got to stab him in the ass. The one in the friend, it doesn't mean the people that you're closing and leaving behind, it doesn't mean that they're evil. It doesn't mean that they're bad. That's the height and the extent of what he knew. That's the height and the extent of the information that he had, the level of discernment that who I believe was my ally, who doesn't make him not. It's the height of his programming. Okay, if we think about this like the Matrix for a moment, it was the height of his programming. He didn't live enough lives to understand how he operated in the future. And that's why these upgrades of Uranus and Taurus in our body, bringing intuition to our body, is showing and reminding us that it is absolutely okay for you to outgrow your friends. It's okay for you to outgrow your family. You were born the black sheep. Okay, embrace that shit. You came back well more advanced than the people you love the most. And that's just okay. And I'm purposely saying the people you love the most because this is the stuff that is the traditions that we like to hold on to. First day home, you know, my family was cooking curry chicken, among other things. I know that right now in this phase, meat is just not working in my body. My body doesn't want to digest it. So it's okay that I outgrew the food traditions of my family. It's just okay. I had rice and beans. Okay, obviously I wasn't overly full. So then afterwards I had the apple pie. Okay, it's okay as a part of these closings for you to recognize that what you used to transmute as for a source of energy, in this example it's food, which is a resource. Okay, that is Taurus. I used to transmute chicken, curry chicken, as a resource to fuel my body. I don't anymore, and that's okay. Same thing with the friend. He was going to stab me in the wrong spot, but it's okay. It doesn't make him an enemy. It doesn't make my family who cooked enemies. And that's the point. That's one of the big things I think that's really happening with this eclipse in the closing, the endings, and Scorpio. You have to apply where Scorpio sits in your chart. I am a Scorpio rising, so me and my rising, that's part of my body. It's part of who I am. Okay, it's okay to transmute these experiences to better myself. To better myself. Let me check the chats. That's essentially the message that I have today. I might do a forecast on the Scorpio for each zodiac sign. Today is not the day that I do that. I still got, literally, I'm not even playing. Like, I just got here. Like, your boy's still packed up. Like, I'm literally, I got shit to do. I think I got to do my taxes. I think I didn't do my taxes yet. I didn't do my taxes. So let me check the comments. I just want to address what y'all might have said, and see what's going on. Ouch, that must be about the finger. What's up, Missy? How you doing, girl? Hey, Jamie. Familia. Happy to see y'all all coming in. Right now, Mars and Pisces, I really feel like I want to make this mention. I want you to really pick one ritual in the space of spirituality where my Mars is in Pisces and just fucking commit to it. All right? One ritual in the space of spirituality, whether that's meditation, breath work, whatever that is, and just go ahead and take a moment to commit to it. Oh, look, see, I'm getting smoke in the inbox right now. That's cool. What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for your comments. Okay, let's do this. Let's get to your comments. The title was The End of the World We Knew. That was what I kind of called this. And it really is the simple truth. All right, so now I'm going through your comments. I'm seeing what we got. Should I come visit you? I saw that one. I have a friend. I don't have a friend. Y'all my friends. I feel you, yo. Y'all on the internet is more my friends than most people that I've met in real life. That's the fact. I want to come see you. Bang. Bang. My friends are in the laptop. Facts. This is literally Saturn in Aquarius. Like, us getting through the challenge to realize that, like, the people who are really you're going to resonate with are literally using tech to communicate. Or at least more futuristic means, which it might not be tech at all, but it might just be, it might be the astral projection. Literally, it might be you transferring consciousness. Okay, like in shamanism, when shamans have the ability to put their mind, in a sense, in the mind of the next person, so that they can better understand how to go through the healing with them, or how to help them as a vessel to go through the healing. I had my own shit to admit that my ex did nothing that I didn't allow. Boom, you feel me? That was that was the part for Scorpios especially, but I think really anybody in the world. But like, it's what hurt me the most was what I allowed, the disrespect that I allowed. That is definitely the one that got me the most, because the South Node is in Scorpio, and I need us to understand that, like, what does that mean? This is why everything that's about to happen is so absolutely dramatic, because the South Node in Scorpio means that, the secret that I kept from myself about being so deranged and unhinged 8 years ago, like I said, 2014, when you go back to this eclipse, what hurt me the most is that I allowed myself to be so deranged and unhinged over somebody else outside of me. And ultimately, that was the secret that I buried and then began to blame. And so I kept having to date and meet people who were always in victim mode. And then I had to take the time to be so judgmental and critical over these victims, or who was playing victim, all so that I can get slapped in the face, South Node and Scorpio, with P. By the way, you have your Pluto in the 12th house of Scorpio, and you buried some stuff, some secrets. You stayed private about some things. And those things have self-sabotaged your success, your progression in life and society. It has put a halt on your own personal divinity and what that looks like, and understanding and discovering that for yourself. It is self-destructive in nature, and it does not allow you, Scorpio, as a Scorpio rising myself, it does not allow yourself to embrace the importance of intimacy, the importance of seeing into me, the importance of relationships. These are some of the things. So whoever said that, I think that was Tiffany. Thank you. I had to own my shit. That was the same. Yep, that was the question. It was Tiffany. I hear you, me too. Taking responsibility for how we teach others how to treat us. Boom. Thank you, Ferris Forey. You're right on point with that. I am healing. Spiritual wellness and mental wellness, along with self-love and being the beauty. Being that I'm a former makeup artist. That's my little nephew. Can y'all hear him? I got my little nephew on the door. He's scratching, trying to get in. It's the whole reason 1717 on screen with another 777. So I came to Connecticut to see my nephew, and that's why I'm getting ready to get up out of here, because I want to go see my nephew. I'm only here for like 20 days before the retreat. Going back to Mexico. It's like I feel like Tupac. Going back to Mehi. Okay, here we go. I just want to address all your comments. I'm healing, spiritual wellness, mental wellness, along with my self-love and beauty. Being that I'm a former makeup artist, so this is a big transition for me, but spiritually has always been for me. Yeah, Kaisha, I'm getting a call right now to just offer it to you. Take an AstroTherapy session with me if you really want to figure out what that path is. And I see an astrology chart. I'm like a fucking wizard. Like, it just goes in like 6 minutes. Like, everything just goes click. Yeah, so like, forgiveness is key, and the first person one must forgive us themselves. Truth. That was difficult for me. I can forgive others easily. Me too. Easily. I forgave others always, because again, I had to understand that forgiving others before I forgave myself was one more means of self-sabotage. It's like, why does that person deserve forgiveness, and I don't deserve my own forgiveness myself. And I had to realize all the different ways. This is South Node in Scorpio going through the means of sabotage. Same here for us. Setting boundaries. Pluto has been in my 7th Capricorn, boom, for the past 300 years. Boundaries is all I know. That's funny as shit. I met Osiris in a dream. Gang. I was doing Bible study. That's Mars in Pisces right now, DJB, in 2014. And so, how do you transmute what you were doing as study for the Bible? I don't know where Scorpio or Taurus sits for you, so that would help me understand what I was going to say next, DJB. But more so, I'm thinking Scorpio because Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. And right now it's in Pisces. So with that being in Pisces, this is, again, that would be Bible study. Okay. Literally like doing religious studies, literally Mars asserting yourself in a religious study. So if you look back then, what was the experience being transmuted from that Bible study? Now I'm gonna give you a little baby example. Last night, for the first time, I had my family here. We all had dinner. Maybe it was like 11 of us as I see a blue jay. And, everybody was eating one by one. And last time I remember being home, when we had big family around together, we all would sit and wait for everybody to be at the table and we would pray together as a family. And that's what I last remembered, per tradition, right? But by the time I sat, like, I had like an uncle who was finished with his food already, another 2 people who were like halfway through, and then another people at the beginning of their place, but they were already eating. So I was like, did we pray already? And everybody was like, oh yeah, yeah. We kind of do it in our heads now. We pray for ourselves, we pray on our own. And, for the last, myself on my own, I have been praying out loud, including with like any dates that I've been going on. Like literally, I'm not kidding you, like on dates. In Mexico, I'm like going on dates. And I'm like, would you mind if I take a moment to pray? And they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. And I'm like, okay, give me a hand. And so I was able to quickly notice like who was willing and who wasn't willing. So one of my values, Uranus and Taurus, and also just Mercury being in Taurus and Taurus season, one of the things that I value is a woman who I can pray with. Okay, now for me, praying isn't necessarily, to Jesus or to Buddha. And quite frankly, at the end of my prayers, I just say love. Because you know what? I can get on board with love. Like for me, like I don't have to question love. Like I'm on board with it. So I just finish off. Instead of saying like amen, I say love. So this is a matter of you experimenting Mars and Pisces with divinity, spirituality, religion for yourself. So if I see this Bible study thing for a moment, to give a real life example, afterwards, I caught myself praying over the table, even though other people were done. And they were like, because they were like, yo, you want to take the prayer? And I was like, yeah, I do. Now, when I was younger, I was way too shy to do something like that. I would have been like, oh, fuck no. Like in front of all 11 of y'all, I'm not going to pray. This is weird. Mind you, and like at the table, we have a pastor, we have a minister, right? We have prophets at the table. Like if I'm being honest, like I grew in a religious family, right? Like people have been hopping as ministries from church to church and yada, yada, yada. So like this was a big thing for me last night. It was huge part of my private nature coming out, okay? My more private nature, where I used to always pray on my own. And I never prayed necessarily to the gods that I was raised to pray to, but also got to get to a point where I went through rejecting all of that shit to eventually embracing it all, so much that I'm now, as a divine masculine male figure at the head of the table, praying for the entire family, praying for the people that I'm in relations with, praying for myself and others. And so I wanted to kind of use that as an example because back 2014, I'm pretty sure during that time frame, I completely abandoned God. Like God didn't really necessarily abandon me, but I abandoned God. I was like, you know what? I'm out, because I was in so much pain from everything I talked about with that relationship. So unhinged, so deranged, ready and willing to fucking kill people. It was just that simple, that praying was the last thing. If to me in my head, it's like, fuck God. Like literally, like with all sincerity. And it took me the time to go ahead and abandon myself. took the time for me to realize that I had to get this secret out, that I myself didn't feel adequate. All these things had to go ahead and come out in order for Uranus, no, North Node in Taurus is bringing us collectively towards harmony. But in order to go towards the Taurus harmony, North Node in Taurus, we have to address this undercurrent of the mucky waters, the ugly, dirty waters of Scorpio, okay? Of all the death, the stabbings, the traumas, the sexual abuse, okay? All of it has to be addressed. It has to come out of the fucking closet into the light. I admire you, Tiffany. I am having to put boundaries up for my kids, and if I saw that a little earlier. And shout out to everybody. Give Forest Fairy a shout out. You know, I believe she has like 5 kids or something like that. You know, and she out there doing the strong mom thing. So shout out to you, Forest Fairy. We all got love for you. Forgive yourself. You did the best you could at the time. And grow past the lessons. Grow past the experience. One of my mentors that really helped me, one of the shamans I was working with, I was like, yeah, my lessons, you know, yada yada, like, yeah, you know, stuff I learned. It's like, no, we're not learning shit, right? We're experiencing in the time frames that we designed for ourselves to have certain experiences. We're having those experiences. Understand that when you die and you come back from another past life into a new life, it's like we create these karmic contracts. Thank you for that thumbs up. And if you're brand new on here and you did not thumbs this video up yet, go ahead. This is an impromptu. I started this video off my dream. I woke up on the dream journal and I was like, prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. So if you're brand new on this, go ahead and drop that thumbs up. I would appreciate you tremendously. But just remember that, you know, we create contracts to meet certain people, to have a relationship that's going to break my heart around 16 years old in the month of July, right before this eclipse, so I can go ahead and go through this, you know, closing. And 8 years later, we do this, okay? We plan this from a higher self, from a higher vision of who are the parents that we need to have, who are the relationships that we need to indulge in. I thank you. I saw that thumbs up. You rock. Thank you. We create all this in a sense in a timeline, and Saturn is like how we karmically get this, these experiences dished out. Right? So we have certain time locks where it's like, look, if you were in a past, like for me, I'm gonna just use real life prime example. I had a woman do a past life reading on me, and I didn't even know. I didn't even like go there for this. It just fucking happened. And she spoke about how it was this wizard in a cave who had all these herbs and yada yada yada. And it's like, okay, I time locked that abilities, those abilities as a wizard who knew how to heal using certain herbs. I know some of them now. I don't know all of them, but I do use herbs to heal. I did use herbs to heal others and heal people. It's stuff that we're doing in the retreat, the wizard type magic that I've learned in the space of healing, just natural ingredients like fucking, you know, the classic, let's say the classic, turmeric and black pepper and their synergistic bond. Great, that one became mainstream. But there's so many ways, okay? Like, listen, like, and it was time locked. So let's say for a sty, for example, like I have a sty in my eye. My time lock of when I went to Colombia, and now I had the Colombian grandmas like, oh, you have a sty? And they would cut tomatoes and they would use the acid from the tomato to just go ahead and place on the eye, because it would have a certain cleansing agent to get the bacteria out of the sty, out of the eye. You feel me? But it was time locked. I didn't grow up in the culture of Colombians. I had to go travel to Colombia, because I made that mention earlier that ninth house in Jupiter in the Aries would say, take a new venture. Okay, take a new start by going outside, traveling outside the country to learn a new philosophy, a new way of life from a new society, to bring more social justice back to your home society. But you have to take a new venture to do such a thing. So that is happening. And it's going to go through Chiron and Aries, and then Venus and Aries will both be 14 degrees, and it'll be squaring with Pluto and Capricorn at 14 degrees. No. Not Pluto, Capricorn, sorry. 14 degrees of a part of fortune in Capricorn. That fortune coming, that if you build and construct from the top down, from the high vision down, If you're at the top of the mountain and you can see your life like this, what would you do then? You would have to see from the top of where your social status is, what is the foundation that you require to build on top of, Taurus, to then get to Virgo, where you fertilize that ground, that agriculture, and all the day-to-day steps you need in order for your crops to give you a certain amount of data of this works, this doesn't work, this is what I need to improve. And then after Virgo will come Capricorn, which says, now I'm at the height of the mountain. Virgo will give all that data to Capricorn. And then Capricorn would say, this is what we needed to do top down. So that's going to happen on this eclipse. And it's all about money, baby, because it's 14 degrees. Like taking new starts on what you value. Literally valuing brand new ventures of who the character you are now. This goes back to the new moon in Aries. You should check that video the Peace Dealer and I had did about the new moon in Aries update, because this is starting a new 12-year cycle. 12 years. I want you to think about how old are you right now. Okay. So what am I? I'm 31 years old right now. So 31 plus 12. That's 43. So I need to right now think about when I am 43 years old, top down, what do I need to do from 43, if I put myself in that seat, down to 31? Top down. This is your biggest fortune. If you can think 12 years ahead to what you want to look like now, understand that it will not be the same. But by doing so and creating that method, that plan, which Mercury in Taurus just will help you did, but now Gemini in Taurus allows you to catch up with the fast enough thoughts to create and bring random variables. This is why things like vision boards work magic, because you just need a vision, okay? A magic board. You don't need the details of, I need to be making $67,000 a year. This is a part of the old values that's going out of thinking that you need to do that. You don't have to do that. I'll be much older than that then. It's okay. It's okay. Mind you that each one of us on here, none of our ages are accurate, okay? Like if I'm 31 in human years, but I'm talking to you on this side of the screen, how old do you think I am in the spirit world? I got crusty balls in the spirit world. Or a crusty vagina that's dried out. I mean, I'm being aggressive. All right. Let me see what's going on with the anybody that is not on my email list, definitely check it out. It's in the description. I just want to say that. I'm going to get more active on there. I'm going to get ready to create a Discord, because I want to be able to talk to all of you more frequently. If I'm being honest, I want to talk to you. And I want you to be able to talk to me, which is more of what I'm saying. Thank you for those thumbs up. I see y'all racking them things up and it hurts. I mean, I said it hurts, but I saw Liz M say ouch just in the comments. I'm guessing she was talking about my finger. I did cut that bitch. Yes, it hurt, but it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. What's up, Jamie? How you doing? So it's a Capricorn sun and Mercury in the second house. I'm having to focus on boundaries. Unless your Capricorn is somehow debilitated, I'm kind of already thinking that you know those boundaries already. Whether you actually obey them, that's a different story. But your mind and what you realize about yourself actually connects, and not everybody does that. So you should theoretically know what your boundaries are when it comes to money in the home, and just ultimately what you value, being everything second house and the resources you have. You should already naturally understand those boundaries, but I'm not looking at your chart. So, I mean, everything could be affected in a different way, but naturally it should be there. Missy, what's going on? I feel you, Tiffany. You speak facts as well, sweet soul. Boom. I love when y'all give love on other people. That's always making me happy. But boundaries get set with everyone, even the children. Yep. Yep. Especially the children. Tiffany, like my sister, my nephew is now 1 year old. She took her whole first year and she didn't work, like on purpose. And literally 1 year later, she got a job. And I'm now here to visit my nephew at 1, and the reason I say that is she took that very critical year to make sure that she was with him in the way she felt she knew she needed to be to give him a good future. So she valued the child and learning how to work through and do the research and the time to set that boundary before she valued work over her own child. That's literally what that example shows me. Tiffany, setting those boundaries with my kids were hard for me. I went through postpartum, and overall I felt so bad. It was needed because I wasn't being true to what I needed. Bang. I'm glad you got back around full circle. What's up, Liz M? I definitely understand. I still have a hard time with it, but I stand firm. Well, I know why I was obsessed with knives. Why? Where's your Mars at? Oh, Clarce. I hope I'm saying your name right, because I prefer to say it right. Scorpio Moon, Mars, Uranus. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Like knives have literally changed your life. Sharp objects, the underworld, deep emotional shit that you could easily have gotten way too attached to. Because this is a lot of what... Here's the difficulty. Objectivity is going to help us tremendously to sift through the overly emotional shit that's going to be going on as these closing and endings come, especially if we hold on, okay? But at the same time, Gemini is also in retrograde during that time frame. So what am I saying? Before Gemini goes retrograde, which it could very closely be the shadow or already in shadow, I don't know. But before it does shadow and retrograde, whatever your mind is thinking about now, literally today, because I don't think it's in shadow yet, is really some of the clearest piece of information that you're going to get before you get into the retrograde. Because by the time you get into the retrograde, it's already starting to get a little weird and a little cloudy, because when Gemini goes retrograde, it does to shake things up a little bit. Like, you're not as objective as you would want to be, or as Gemini is. You lose a little bit of that 7 to 8 year old childhood innocence on speaking and dealing with the truth, okay, as an adult. So if you have the opportunity, check in with yourself now. Really do the meditation now. Take some walks now while Gemini's there, because walks, traveling locally in your community, you're going to meet people and you're going to have conversations that will help you to understand your situation and keep you clear when you get into that more muddy water of this eclipse, okay, of this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So take the time to do that now, because once it goes shadow and retrograde, our minds cannot be really trusted as much, and disruptions will happen in your local environment. Like, you might get a flat tire, don't get frustrated about that shit when it happens. It's happening. Those things happen only when we treat the retrograde as for what it's not, something that is as something different than what it's worth. Okay, so Gemini wants to travel locally, wants to talk to people randomly, and doesn't really want to get too deep. If you don't allow that, this is when things like you now bust your tire in traffic. This is now when you get caught in traffic and you didn't bust your tire, but you're sitting for 2 hours. Why? Because it's creating the space. This is when your radio is no longer working in the traffic, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm sitting in the traffic and I'm fucking hot, and my radio doesn't work and I have to listen to my thoughts. And it's like, that stuff only happens when you don't take the time to do it for yourself. All the new people on here, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. And thank you for that thumbs up button for your boy. All that stuff only happens when you don't take the time. So take the time, meditate. I'm a Cap Sun, awkward rising. You're a spy. DJ B, you're a spy. I called you out. Pisces Moon. Sag Venus, yeah. You're an intergalactic spy. I'm not even kidding. The shit that I see that you can see, next level. That's what I said. Everybody on here is not, y'all not simple, okay? Y'all live a lot of past lives already. Y'all have, if you're on this channel, I had to really embrace that, because I kept trying to speak English. I kept trying to speak like normal. And as long as I was doing that, I wasn't embracing my call. I was never meant to talk to simple-minded people. This is the reality. And I held on to a lot of people who kept telling me, yo, you got to be able to speak the marketing language, and you got to be able to tone down your intelligence. Like, I can tell you're really smart, but you keep making other people feel stupid. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean, bro? Like, I used to get so annoyed. And ultimately, like, if anything, my Saturn return has taught me, like, I'm not a fucking human. And I want to take it back. If anything, my Saturn return has reminded me, okay, as I return to the cosmic intelligence, Aquarius, that I'm not human. That everybody listening to this is not human, because if you were, you would have got off already. None of you are from this planet, this timeline, or reality. Red Robin's new beginnings, bam, growth, rejuvenation. And I feel like that. Literally in the dream. Like literally in the dream I started talking about when I first got in here. I was like, had to go through this cosmic rejuvenation. Like I was, the fight, the battle that I had to go against myself, I beat myself in a sense so bad to a pulp. Okay, like, yeah, sure, it came as like I beat the girlfriend to a pulp, but there's a reason why I don't know which girlfriend it was in the dream, because it was me. It was the pure reflection of how badly I beat myself up through self-sabotage, through senseless sacrifices, and so much more. It's carnal and it's a male spirit. Thank you, because I'm an Aries. That's a masculine energy, and it's the first cardinal sign, and it's all about red. So that helps, Tiffany. Thank you. Scorpio sun rising, and Pluto in Scorpio. I just had an orgasm just thinking about Liz M. I'm like, yeah, Scorpio sun rising and Pluto. Whole orgasm. Okay. It's okay. I don't like stinging anymore. You know what's funny about Scorpio? One of the best parts about surrender, and this could be because my Pluto is in Scorpio, but 12th house specifically. So what I'm about to say next could be because I'm in the 12th house. But when you say I don't like stinging anymore, I kind of giggle to myself, because one of the things I realize is I don't have to sting, but I am like forced to surrender on when I sting others. I used to try to not allow others to be stung that I knew were gonna get stung, and I didn't want it to happen, but spirit would just make me sting them anyways, and I used to get mad. Honestly, I used to be like angry with the divine. I was like, how dare you use me to dish your karma? And I used to treat it just like that. Like, but I realized like that I'm also a part of this role. Like I'm one more speck of dust, okay, on this floating rock made of water, just a speck. And it's like, who am I to keep denying that? Like, I'm going to be used to sting motherfuckers, but that there is a plan to all of this. Like, this is Mars in Pisces and Venus in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. It's allowing us to surrender to a higher and more divine and etheric and completely misunderstood Pisces sign, energy, energetic signature. Like, what do you really understand about divinity? What do I really understand about the world of the etheric? Nothing. Like, the answer is always nothing. Until the day we die, it's nothing. We're going to keep remembering more and more and more, but at the end of the day, it's like, as a Scorpio rising with that Pluto in the 12th, what I'm telling you is that shit is infinite. It's infinite. And I be trying to tell people, like, you know, you can die. There are some things in that void of nothing, and it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me, and it can kill us. Okay, there is a reason that there are different pocket dimensions. Certain things in one dimension could be fucking weak as hell, but if it can get into our dimension, it's like all powerful, laying out everything. And these things happen. This could be something like the Black Plague. Some interdimensional something got through to this world, which either it was supposed to or wasn't supposed to. Regardless, the result was the same. That shit wiped motherfuckers out. And we have to understand, like, certain things are strong. So it's like, I don't know why I just took the moment to say that. This is the first Google answer for the Red Robin. When you see Red Robins, bear in mind that they often represent new beginnings, growth, and rejuvenation. Thank you. Thank you, DJB, for Team of Faith. I appreciate y'all. And I feel all that. I mean, I am, like, right, there's so many people in here with the Scorpio placements. It's like, we all going through the new beginning. South Node in Scorpio is whooping ass. Scorpio rising, Venus, North Node, bang. Love my Scorpios. Red Robin's a visit from someone that crossed over. I didn't know that one as well. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate you, Donna. Delicia. Delicia. I like your last name. Makes me want to go like this. Delicia. I don't know if I said that properly. I get confused now because of the Spanish accent, and I'm back in the U.S. and it's like it's weird. 5th PM Faith, we don't have Red Robins here. Scorpio 11th and 12th. Gang. It's necessary, absolutely. I have Scorpio. I have South Node in Scorpio. Ooh, okay. Wow. So you going through. I pray for you. And I mean that in the most nice way. Nice is not the right adjective, but I mean that in the most pure way. Happy transformation, Liz. Hell yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. I've been a people pleaser, put myself first now. Yep. I think everybody in here has been a people pleaser once. I have. And it's not my role. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm way. What do I want to say about people pleaser? I am way too good as a people pleaser for me to embrace that role. Fuck that role. I hate it. It's a shit role. I hate even being good at it. I'm like, that's the awkwardness behind it all. Like, oh, what the fuck? When I look back hindsight, it's like I was a really good people pleaser. No wonder why everybody wanted this grade A energy. I was giving them grade A premium source of infinite fuel. Okay, like fucking dumb. Especially as Scorpios, we rejuvenate. Okay, I'm an Aries. Like Aries is Mars is the warrior, right? Like it gets battle wounds and it rejuvenates quickly. Think about an infant. Aries, 0 to 2 years old. It's an infant. It doesn't have all the toxins and enzymes of like modern day world that blocks and limits your spiritual power. So it's like when you don't have that, guess what? You have access. You have access to spirit easily, which includes rejuvenating from the metaphysical, which makes your physical body just heal quickly. And that was the biggest problem about people pleasing, because people knew this about me even when I didn't know this, that I can just keep rejuvenating, which means that I can be the primary source, the only source they need. It's like that wicked witch that looks for the perfect host who she can live in forever. Well, now I've been reading the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Dope. I had a dream of Heke. So I have been traveling down the Egyptian practices. Yes. I like that because earlier I believe you're the same person that was doing Bible study, and I love hearing that. I love hearing that, DJB. Thank you for showing us some some versatility. Thank you for showing us some versatility. I haven't seen anybody in the comments speak about the Book of the Dead of the Egyptian culture yet, or following their practices. So I love it. Force fairy blessings, abundances to you. There's a lot of work to do. Bang. Hell yeah. Shout out to each one of the divine women on here. I haven't seen any men in the comments yet, so I just want to shout out to each one of you for just showing up for yourself. All right. I appreciate you. You're so one time. What's up, Angela? How you doing? Glad to be here. Purple and blue heart. Those are the first two things that I saw that really resonate. Thank you for speaking on sexual abuse. I think it's currently the hardest hurdle with me and my family. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm past life Cancer 8th house. Sexual abuse in the family is there. Vertex 8th house in Cancer for me. I have like 2 other Cancer 8th house placements, and I just found that like talking about and being able to nurture people through their phases and stages of sexual abuse just seems to be some kind of superpower of mine that's still coming up. And what I've learned is that apparently I can deliver babies. I lost track. Up before 3 months ago, I've never delivered a baby in my life. Not that I know of. And about 2 months ago, I delivered my first spiritual baby. And I'm not kidding. Like an invisible baby came out of a woman's vagina. I'm not kidding. And it bit her on the boob. with a real mark, an invisible baby. I'm not kidding. And that was the first. And I didn't even know it. I didn't recognize it as that. This is something to do with this Cancer 8th house placement. And to be honest, it's really still unraveling, but I'm learning more and more about it. I'm going somewhere with this story, so just give me a second. And then I heard, was with this shaman, and he was like, he delivered like an endless amount of babies. And when he said it, he helped me realize, like, holy shit, just last night I delivered a baby. I was like, what the fuck? And then from there, I delivered a month later 11 babies. Of course, again, all invisible. And there's a whole story behind that, but that's a whole nother live. And then next thing you know, it was like 5, 6, 7. Just that apparently like I'm like a doula or some shit, like a spiritual doula. It's one of the reasons, like 8th house invisible, okay? Nurturing Cancer. Cancer nurturing the invisible family. The reason I say this is it has a lot to do with sexual abuse. I think, I know a lot of these people have, that I'm delivering babies with, like, and this is like a lot of times like nothing to do with like sex, right? There's nothing to do with like penetration. I found that I don't know what this ability really fully plays out to be like. So like understand, like, when I say this, I'm still talking from like in the middle of the practice, but I know that it applies to sexual abuse. And what I'll say is it also applies to people who have lost a baby. So like in my life, I've lost a child. Like when I was, I don't know how old I was, but I lost a child. And this was a part of my gift of working with the divine feminine that they gave back to me to be able to, again, South Node Scorpio, take that secret that I kept and all the pain that was associated with me losing a kid, all right, and to transmute that energy, Scorpio, to be someone who apparently delivers babies now and have a certain affinity for doing such a task based off of my personal experience that has at one point taken a child from me. It felt like a loss that I did not know how to cope with. And so I did so in very toxic ways and whatever that looked like throughout the years. But this, how do I bring this back to what I was talking about with sexual abuse? I feel like sexual abuse should be talked about a little bit more openly, because without talking, it's going to seem like this individualistic attack from like God. It's like, or the devil or whatever. It doesn't even fucking matter. I mean, I don't really see a difference between God and the devil, if I'm being honest. But that's a different story. And I realize that it's not. But as long as we hold the trauma in the same narrative, regardless of the form of abuse, all abuse, but we're going to talk sexual abuse right now because I think it has to do with 8th house, quite frankly, and Scorpio a lot. It's one of the big traumas that goes under discussed, or it's something that's misinterpreted. So I've never been sexually abused, but at least in this life, but I don't know what the link is, but for some reason, and maybe I just need to say it, there feels like this link between losing a child and sexual abuse, where if I think South Node and Scorpio right now, and these more private matters of trauma coming out to light, what I want to say is there's hope. And there's more than... Wow. What the fuck? This is not even my room. Like, I'm just staying here for like 20 days. I'm like, I don't even really live here. Hope. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Hope. What I want to say is there's hope. And the hope, really for me, it took like 9 years or so to realize that that me losing a child happened for a real reason. And what I had to realize is loss only really means that I've truly loved deeply. Deeply. So deep that it can even feel like a loss. Whatever it is. Whatever the loss. If I didn't love so deeply, I wouldn't have felt that I lost something. And, even losing that unborn child felt like that loss. Like I loved that little kid so deeply, boy or girl, I don't even know. But I do believe we should start talking about sexual abuse. I do believe we should talk about miscarriages. I do believe we should talk about these more darker subjects out loud. Because until we do, we're not going to step into harmony, Taurus, North Node, Taurus, as a collective. So thank you. Forgive me, that was a whole sideball left. I don't even know if that really made sense, but I said it. My dreams have been wild. I know. My shit's been wild. Like to the point where like I haven't even been journaling in my dreams because I'm like, man, fuck this. I need a break. I need to rejuvenate. I need this Red Robin rejuvenation because I'm like, man, fuck all this. Like, and until I started meeting more Pisces, I didn't really realize how good Pisces are at just being like, nope, doesn't exist. Like they really can believe that shit. And that's what I had to realize. Like that was reflecting back in my 12th house. I'd be like, nope. My dreams have been wild and real. Like I'm jumping around timelines and universes, etc. You are jumping timelines. You are jumping universes. You are a Sag. I know this. And you're taking quantum leaps. So just embrace that. You are. And this is what I was trying to tell people earlier in the video. Like understand that with 2 eclipses back to back, eclipses last for months on their impact. We have them back to back like this. The amount of time lines, realities, dimensions, and more that you are skipping through. This is why Uranus and Taurus has to do its work to upgrade your body, to make it through these portals. You're going to see glitches. I mean, I'm seeing physical people who just disappear. It's like, who made this program? Because that's not possible. But it happens just to remind us, show us like that it's not possible and that the world we know is a fabric of our imagination. My stomach just grumbled at that moment. It was like, you're right. No, it was like, doo, doo, doo. It said, let them know. Okay, I had to like, I'm getting better at this cancer thing. I got these cancer placements and it's helping me. It's getting better and better. It was like, let them know. All right. Fairy Tarot, you are strong and blessed with your 5 children. Absolutely. Thank y'all for showing her love. I'm grateful I made it out alive and didn't injure anybody. Yep, me too. Because I almost killed a lot of motherfuckers in my day. And I did hurt a lot of people who didn't deserve to be hurt. And that plays into a good story because really a good friend of mine just recently went through a divorce or they're in the process of it. And it's because there was infidelity in a relationship. And this motherfucker wants to kill this motherfucker. So I'm just going to leave it like that and leave the sexes out. And I was able to come back and really guide my friend with an objective mind and use discernment from my personal experiences. Thank you for that like or that thumbs up. I saw you out there. I appreciate y'all for dropping those thumbs up. And, you know, I'm talking to my friend now and I was able to give real live experience of, hey, look, you know, there's a Scorpio hole that you don't want to fall into that I did. And all these years later, I can very clearly tell you that you don't want to go down that violent hole that Scorpio has somehow famously become known for, because we do represent death, okay? And I can tell you I've come more than one person throughout different years of my life in different phases by me not channeling my anger as a triple Aries in the right way, which is like instinctive anger, right? Like it's rapid, impulsive, instinctive anger. There's not time to think. So in these more unevolved Aries and stages, I was like, look, like I've put a lot of people close to death. It does not feel good to think you killed somebody. Even when they wake back up, to see people's eyes roll backwards and they're going through seizures. And that happened by my hands. That does not feel good to watch in real time. So thank God I've never actually killed anybody. But there were at least 3 people that came way too close. And I was able to kind of come back and bring him that experience as, you know, they go through this moment of infidelity and, you know, X, Y, and Z in their relationship. I was like, you know, the best thing I was able to give is, and I don't know what brought me to this. What comment brought me here? I don't even know what the fuck. How did I get here? Whatever. This plays into Scorpio South Node. Us bringing out these secrets in order for us to transmute that energy to help interpersonal relationships. Okay, so my friend is part of one of my interpersonal relationships. Through my trauma of nearly killing people, I was able to help by revealing why you don't want to go down the other side of Scorpio when we sting, especially recklessly. And one of the things that I want to tell you about this is having the thought of killing somebody is not the same as the action. I quite frankly believe it's healthy to allow yourself to have the thought, but also respect your decision that you actually made, which is usually the fact that you did not kill the person. Usually. And hopefully. And make sure that we create a certain separation, a certain boundary in between the thought of wanting to kill yourself and the fact that you're still alive, listening to the fact that you didn't kill yourself. Everybody on here right now live has thought about genuinely killing themselves at one point in time. Let's talk about it. But you're listening to me speak now, which means what? You didn't do it. Whatever the attempt, you fucking slit your wrist, you took your pills, you fucking jumped your jump, whatever it is, if you're still here, I want to just say this out loud, you're still here. So change the story of you tried to kill yourself and realize that if you didn't, more likely than not, at least I can speak for myself, I was really looking for attention that I couldn't get from the people that I love the most. And so the threats to kill myself was the last resort of me trying to hold on as that portal in time was trying to close. People will throw your whole day off. I had to learn that because this is what this eclipse, one of the things it's doing is like, you know, the extreme emotional turbulence that a Scorpio can go through. You have to ground yourself. I have to ground myself before I ever get out. My phone is off at night at least 1 to 2 hours before I go to bed. And it's off at least 1 to 2 hours before I wake up. My iPad is the only thing I don't turn off, but I don't keep my WhatsApp on my iPad. My WhatsApp is really the one that be fucking wilding out because I'm meeting people from different countries. Like so many people are fucking 13 hours ahead of us in the day. Like I'm getting news from the future, literally. Like literally I'm getting news from the future, which is hard to separate sometimes. But yeah, 6 hours in Europe. Like, so I don't keep, so definitely structure your routine in a way where you can protect yourself before you get invited to the chaos of the world. Make sure you ground yourself. So thank you, Jamie, for making that. You're confirming that my ancestors are saying to me, to me, you, Fatima Peace Dealer, found you all right on time. Yeah. Yeah, Peace Dealer and I definitely had a karmic contract, one of our time locks. Because it's really interesting how we met. All right. I'm learning to keep the peace or to keep the space between myself and others. People get attached. And I'll never let myself be attached again. I feel like I'm at the beginning of a new life for myself. And nothing will stop me. Okay, Jamie, I'm going to address this. Especially because my throat was like... It's like when I was a kid and I was told to never say never. So right here, I'll never let myself get attached again. Or... I'll never let myself get attached again. Or, nah, I ain't never let myself get attached again. Whatever the expression, however it actually came out. Understand that when we have, let's say, I'm going to use a romantic partner, for example. When we have a romantic partner, understand this. It is an interpersonal relationship. I don't really believe any woman wants to be a strong, independent woman that can't lean on her man. And I don't really believe that any man wants to be so hard that they can't trust their woman to some extent. So Scorpios, our biggest thing is intimacy, to be literally so intimately intertwined, not attached. I think of it as intertwined for Scorpios of what we desire, not attached, not on the pole tightly that we can't breathe and they can't breathe, like a snake choking out their victim before they eat them, but intertwined, the snakes raveling the pole, but not actually touching it. There's space in between. If this is this pole, there's space in between the two snakes raveling the pole. This is my understanding of interdependent relationships. Scorpio risings, we're going through a 7th house switch up, 1st house, 7th house, brand new person, okay, brand new beginning, but also in relationships, and primarily for relationships. On this, drop a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Drop that thumbs up. Boom. So my point is, and I want to say one more moment, like, thank y'all for allowing me to go ahead and be out here and to just give in the way that my heart is the happiest. So I also want to say this, right? Like, my heart is happy when I'm able to give in such a way, like through this channel. Because I don't even want to say teach. Teach was the first that came out of my mind, but I don't want to even say teach. Thank you for allowing me to give in the way that I am now. I just want to say that. Okay, so Scorpio, 7th house. The whole thing the Taurus season is teaching us and it helping us to get to the point where Taurus season, Mercury that just left Taurus a couple days ago, Uranus is in Taurus, all of this energy is teaching us how to be an individual inside of an interpersonal relationship. Whether you're currently already married and have your girlfriend, boyfriend, it's teaching you how to go through the ground shaking developments that are required in order for you and your personal foundation. Taurus is an individual sign to feel stable and be stable, not to just feel, but to feel and be realistically stable, even in your interpersonal relationships. And if you're single, it's teaching you and giving you the experience that you need to remember that you are an individual first and foremost and always. And as you get stable there and create what your frame looks like before you into a relationship, then you know your borders and your boundaries. Healthy borders, healthy boundaries, not hurt boundaries and hurt borders. Healthy, as in you took the time to work that shit out before you re-entered a relationship. And I wanted to just kind of like take the moment to say that because in reality, we all want love and we all want to feel safe in the arms of somebody else. Yes, Pernell, grade A energy given to those who take. Narcissism. A wise man told me, as a giver, know your boundaries because takers have none. Yes, I like this wise man. Thank you for sharing that, Force Fairy. I got chills on the arms. Look at that. I got bubbles, hairs poking up. Damn, I just realized what eclipse season is meant for me. Thank you. Yes, Missy, you fucking quantum leaper. I'm going to read that next one first. Just talked to my dad yesterday about his brother molesting me. Boom. I never spoke about it since I told my parents. It's been surfacing in my mind again. It felt so liberating and to have his love and support again. I think my inner child needed to be held and told it wasn't her fault by her. It wasn't her fault by her father. Yes. This reminds me of a conversation I just had with my brother. We were speaking about why he is no longer in the church, weaponizing the inner world or thought against people came up to create dependency. He was Mormon. Missy, I want to say congratulations. Tremendously proud of you because, you know, what month is this right now? This is May. I think in like December you had this conversation with me. So I'm really happy to see how it played out, Missy. That's and I could be wrong, maybe it wasn't December, but that's like, 5 to 6 months that you officially just said this out loud, not just to someone in the privacy of your own home or community. And I remember our first we had this convo. And so I just want to just openly say, I'm really proud of you. If everybody is in here, can y'all just go ahead and just throw her some heart, some love, some clap emojis, some excitement, some thumbs up, some whatevers. Throw that for her, because that's very intense. You got your uncle molesting you, and it ruined the relationship with your father, who may not have even known or may have known. I don't know the specifics. So that's huge. And these are the moments that as a people, we have the opportunity to not just watch and stare, but to congratulate and bring, in this instance, Missy, that much closer to really loving her decision that she made to have the toughest conversations. Because this eclipse season is exactly that. I want you to think about right now, what is the toughest conversation you can have, and with who? Because that is what's coming. Mark my words. What is the toughest conversation you can have, and with who? I'm going to type that in the comments myself. What is... First, I'm going to give Missy these hearts up, because I'm going to back what I'm talking about. So boom, 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 boom. Thank you. Wow, you're amazing. And now I say this. What is the toughest convo you can, which is a choice, have? And with who? Because understand that as we all watch this, there's so many more people that have been molested in this exact chat. And I've had a lot of private conversations with a lot of people. And I say that to say this primarily. You are bold and you're not broken. Yet you are building something phenomenal, magnificent, worldly. And each time one of you in the chats reveal your own personal story of pain, trauma, and otherwise undesirable, you're helping somebody else who is not at the stage to speak out loud yet, or to cheer you on, because then it would mean that they would have to reveal with their own personal illusion about the story that they needed to create to protect themselves at that time frame. And understand that everything with this lunar eclipse closing in Scorpio is a moment for each of us, either personally by sharing and expressing our own privacies, our own secrets, our own privacies, our own secrets, or by healing through the story of another, because we're not personally ready yet to have to share it. And understand as well that it is never a requirement for you to have to broadcast that story to the world. But it is fucking healing, I won't lie to you. Because ultimately that's how and why I started a channel like this in the first place. If we really get back to the basics of it all, I needed help. And I didn't know what that looked like. And the best that I knew that was consistent enough without me having to nag somebody all the time, because I need help, is to just say, fuck it, grow your nutsack pee, and go out there and talk that talk. Talk your story. Speak your traumas. Speak my pain. And release it. And transform it. And heal. And then turn around and transmute it. You're in Massachusetts, I'm in Connecticut. DJB, tell me you're close to Springfield, and we meet soon. Oh, my belly growled when I said that. Absolutely, Fatima, I see you, girl. Yo, my daughter Hope just walked in. That's dope. wasn't a bite on the boob. That's called rooting. Ooh, thank you, Tiffany. That's great. Thank you. You just helped me understand something. If you're ever looking for an awesome Bible study, check out Solomon Report on Saturdays. Thank you. I'm glad you're all liberated. Yes, I'm in Northampton. I don't remember. I think I passed Northampton once. But DJB, the best I'll say is send me an email. From there, I'll likely just give you my WhatsApp number, hopefully if you have it. And then I'm here for 20 days. So, you know, maybe that's coffee or something like that. Who knows? Amber Gage, thank you for the hearts up. Those healing hearts. I appreciate you. Okay, look, it's my time. I think I'm going to go boxing. And I need to eat breakfast. I woke up from a fucking prophecy and it's like, I gotta talk. So this was that talk. Thank you all. If last minute, drop that thumbs up. There are no current events or anything like that I'm running right now. I'm just here with family and I'm going to do that. So I'm likely to be doing more things on my own personal community while I'm actually here in the States, going to schools, doing talks, try to wake up these kids are already woke. So there's nothing to wake up. They're not, just remind them that like they're not crazy in the way that they actually let me in the school to talk to them. So we'll figure that out. And I'm hungry. So I love you all. I'll see you soon. This is such a pleasure. Ciao.